Alrighty, we're live. Woo woo! What's up? What's up, everybody? Record. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. Episode 98 of Dave's Dugout. Woo-hoo! We're getting up there. I say that every week. Just sounds crazy. The 90s. 90s kid. As you can see, if you're watching live on either Instagram or YouTube, if you're on the pod, thank you for listening, like, and share with your friends. But you can also go watch the rerun of the YouTube stream. That's always up. Always on my, what is it called now? IGTV too. That's the thing, right? So if you're watching, you see I got my swag on. I got my USA hockey jersey. I meant to record the podcast last night, but here we are. Timestamp Tuesday, 12:30 Mountain Time on February 23rd. So February 22nd is the day, 41 years to the day of the Miracle on Ice. Almost unarguably the greatest sports moment for generations, for the 20th century, whatever you want to call it. Everybody knows who it is, even little kids. You can ask them, you know. It's one of those things that I think pretty much everybody knows the moment, especially at the end when everybody's celebrating. I bought this bad boy in Lake Placid. I always thought it would be cool to get Miracle on the back and then like the number 80. I always thought that would be for 1980. I haven't gotten it customized yet. It's just blank on the back, but still a fire jersey. So it was just a little moment to, USA, baby. Gotta love it, right? All right, so we got a lot to get to today. Let's dive on into a couple things off the top. I'm going to try to keep us to a half hour today because I got things to do, places to go, people to see, and I was going to say undefeated, but a 16-1 basketball team to go interview who just knocked off the number one team last on Saturday. So we got to go do that. And we're going to be on a time crunch. That's all I'm saying, folks. Don't sleep in. Hence the coffee. We'll get started with our little game. If you're drinking at, 2 p.m. on the East Coast on Tuesday, you're the real MVP. But if you're watching a replay of this is for you. Oh, let's go! Drained it. Can't see it on the Instagram, but on YouTube, I just drained it. Everybody drink. Woo! Nice. Heck yeah. I'm getting good at that, people. It's actually a game now. Heck yeah. All right. That's the way to start a show, boys and girls. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Miracle on Ice. Check. Michael Jordan's birthday. Happy belated birthday to the GOAT. I have no problem saying that. No problem at all. He's not even the GOAT emoji. I don't even use him for that anymore because that's been so overused. He is the capital G dot, capital O dot, capital A dot, capital T dot. I don't want to hear some Tom Brady clout. Not yet. Most successful. I'll die on that grave. Another thing off the top. Keith Gill, a.k.a. Roaring Kitty. You are the real MVP. He did his, I don't want to sound stupid here. I wrote it down on purpose. Testimony before the House. That was live on like CNN and CNBC, whatever the channels it was. If you're not up to date on the whole GameStop drama, Roaring Kitty, Keith Gill is his real name. He's one of the original guys who was kind of preaching the GameStop stock to the moon, wherever you want to word it, from the get-go, early this summer. Made millions. I thought his speech was beyond perfect. Not perfect. It's fantastic. You can tell obviously he's a very smart person. There's a reason he's made millions of dollars, and we all got screwed. And by we all, I mean the common investor, not a billionaire on Wall Street, not a hedge fund. They put their foot down on us, halted trading. You know how that goes. But his speech was not only smart and made great points. He also threw in, um, it was good. It was actually just a really really good speech. And then Vlad, the CEO of Robinhood, just looked like an idiot. Like he should try to run for. He should be a politician. He was just up there, just. I mean, one of the House representatives, whatever you want to call him. Clearly, you can tell I love politics. He gets up and says, they're literally like, it's a yes or no question. And this got replayed on social media and whatever. And he's like, oh, he just like starts rambling, and they go yes or no. He's like, well, we'd like to say, and they're like, it's a yes or no question. Well, we'd like to, so liar, so that's what happened there. Want to hear more about it? Go follow Dave Portnoy. He's more into it than I am, because he's got more money invested in it than I do. So actually, I guess he sold Paper Hands Portnoy. Oh. I'm just mostly messing around. He knows that. So half his brand's built off his. All right. What else off the top? Clubhouse. Clubhouse is this big thing. If anybody knows anybody on Clubhouse that can send your boy an invite, I'd appreciate it. That'd be super cool. Apparently, it's a trending thing now. Kind of really blew up mainstream now. Hit the news once Elon Musk did a, whatever you call them, conference. I don't know what they're called. Rooms. What are they called? Uh, so I've heard in the little research I've done, now Twitter's getting in on the Clubhouse game, and they made a thing called Twitter Spaces. And here's a hot take you're only going to hear on Dave's Dugout. Well, it's not true because I heard it somewhere else while doing research. But so similarly to how Snapchat blew up and the stories were a big thing, and it was kind of Snapchat's baby was the stories. Here comes big old money Facebook, and they're like, we're gonna make that for Instagram, and we're gonna do it, and more. Everybody already has Instagram, so you don't even have to download Snapchat. Well, here comes big money Twitter. And they're like, Clubhouse sounds like a good idea. Everybody already has Twitter. Why don't we just do it? So Twitter Spaces is making one, and not saying you heard it here first. Clubhouse sounds like it's going to work. I mean, Silicon Valley's clearly invested in it, so maybe it will be this multi-billion-dollar industry, like they're saying. But it sounds like a Snapchat versus Snapchat's still successful right now, but some would argue that Instagram stories are even more popular, and it was Snapchat's thing first. We might see a similar thing here with Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse. So those are your non-sports related topics here to start off our day. And we'll start with the NFL, because that's what drives ratings. And that's clearly what we need here to drive ratings, because I think we got one streamer on YouTube right now, at last check. Yep, we got one. And nobody on Instagram. What, noon isn't a good time for you people? I guess it's 2 on the East Coast. On a Tuesday? I was gonna do it last night, but I figured midnight, 2 a.m. Eastern wasn't good either. So we're 12 hours later. Thought that'd be a little better for you people. But all right, here we are. NFL news. Carson Wentz was traded for a pack of gum and a stick. I actually don't have the real numbers in front of me because he really got traded. What was it? The second round and a third round pick, conditional second round, whatever it was. So that happened last week after we recorded, and jokingly but half seriously, I messed around with my Eagles friends. Who's that? Mostly Garris and Christian. I said you should have traded Wentz and stuck with Big Nick. Like Big Nick was the Super Bowl MVP. Clearly, he's capable of being okay at quarterback. So I would have stuck with him. gotten 2, 3, 4 first round picks for Wentz at the time, maybe 2. Better than a second and a third or whatever they got now years later. Uh, Hindsight always 2020. I was half joking back then. I'm still kind of half joking now. But like they say, to most jokes, there's a little bit of truth. And to that one, I say maybe you should have. Let's just do the other stuff off the top, and then we'll do all college b-ball, baby. Because I'm trying to roll quickly here. We're doing good. 8 minutes in, and I am rolling through my little top stories. NBA standings. Just wanted to hit these for you because I know I don't talk about the NBA enough. We got it's actually surprising. We actually have some not surprising, but parity in the NBA. It's only by half a game. See, this is why the more you dive into the NBA, it's like the less surprising it gets. 76ers are in first place in the East. Brooklyn Nets are in second. Milwaukee's in third. That's where it's a little less surprising. And I got to give a shout out to the Knicks, even though I'm semi-boycotting them, as you all know, until they show me that they want to try to win. It's not that I'm a bandwagon fan. It's a total different story with the Knicks. I was going to go defend myself, but I don't even need to. It's the Knicks. Western Conference, a little surprising again. Jazz, 3.5 games ahead of everybody. Utah Jazz in first place, and then the Clippers, and then the Lakers. That's where it gets a little less surprising, like I said. When you look at the first place, you're like, wow, some parity. And then you look, and I'm only 2 games back. The teams we all expected. To be expected. So that's your very quick NBA update. We're going to do the same thing with the NHL, but they actually did something cool over the weekend I want to talk about too. In the Central, we got the Florida Panthers in the lead, then the Carolina Hurricanes, then the Lightning in the East. These divisions also different from normal years now because of COVID. I actually love the way the NHL handled all this. They kind of had to because can't travel back and forth from Canada, but then the East, you got the Bruins, the Capitals, and then the Islanders have been playing really well, which we don't like, but that's okay. Then in the North, which is the Canada division, however we're calling it, we got the Maple Leafs, Oilers, and the Jets. And then in the West, you got the Vegas Knights, Blues, and Avs. And with the NHL, I also just wanted to mention that they did the very cool outdoors. They did the Stadium Series the last couple of years, where they played Michigan Stadium. They've been playing outdoor games once or twice a year, and been and amazing. Everybody always said that the players like it. That's really what matters the most. The fans like it, which is what actually matters the most. But nobody wants to tell you that because it's a business. All sports are. They don't want to tell you that though. It's player safety. They really just want to get a paycheck. Oh, am I going to get in trouble for that? I whispered, so it doesn't count. Actually, I couldn't even hear it on the Instagram. Lost my train of thought. Outdoor games, Utah, Tahoe. So they did the outdoor games in a very, very cool spot this year. I actually really like this idea. Whoever brainstormed this in the conference room, props to you, buddy. It was probably an intern, because I've interned at big places like that. I'm not gonna say where because I don't want that to come back and bite me. But I'll just say a company that sounds like Tud Tight. It's a beverage. They came in and did a pretty cool thing, and my girl Jess was another. She worked there, right? She wasn't an intern technically. It was really actually her idea. It wasn't even my idea. I'm going to take credit for it. I've never told this story, I don't think. Actually, not recorded on a podcast. We'll see. I can do the real story one day with the companies and whatever later. I'm sure people that know me can fill in the blanks. So a promotional, meeting coming in, and this beverage company was coming in, and we set up the room, and she was like, "Why don't we set up like a beer pong table?" And Put all the, made a little pyramid of the cans, and it was actually really cool. It looked really good. You walked in the room and it was like, whoa, it looked like, it was one of the suites at a stadium or arena, I'll just say. And, like, they were going to call it the beverage party deck. And it looked cool. And they ended up signing for however many hundreds of millions this beverage company that I'm not going to name. They ended up signing like hundreds of millions of dollar deal, and it was like me and this other girl, like just two interns, just like it was our idea actually. And like in the office, all the big shots were like, they really like the beer pong table idea. We're like, oh, because you came up with that, Mr. 58-year-old guy in your big office with your windows. Nothing against any of these people. I actually liked everybody I worked with there. It was super fun, and like they let us set up the anyway. This is why I get off on tangents, but I butchered that story. I'm usually good at telling stories, but I was trying not to name the companies, and like that just ruined it. I don't know why I was being so secretive. I actually have pictures that I've meant to post that on. I have to find those old pictures and just like blast it back from the past. Like, hey, remember that time we did that? I don't know how to word that though, because nobody's gonna care. It's like, it just would have been nice to get like a little bit of a cut from that deal, because I know somebody got a pay raise somewhere. Um, yeah, a beverage company sponsoring a very famous arena. uh, yeah. So, where was I? Talking about the outdoor game. That's where we were. Golly. So usually they've been doing the NHL outdoor games in stadiums. This year they set up a rink on the 18th hole of, I don't have it written down now anymore, the name of the golf course, but it's right on the Nevada California border. Wow, I can't speak. Uh, right on Lake Tahoe, like right, like the like rink, little grass beach lake, and then just beautiful snow-capped mountains. People were like in kayaks and canoes, just like chilling, watching the game. There was a party deck boat out there. People were. It was cool. Um, so the scenery was the best part. I guess they didn't account for. I mean, you can never can the weather. It was perfect earlier in the day when they were warming up, and a little overcast, which is good. It was the temperatures I said were below freezing. I think it was like right at like 30. But then the sun came out and it was just like melting the ice. People were like tripping. I don't know if it's called tripping when you're on ice skates, but the ref fell over, or the Avs players just fell over, just like they were just like it just wasn't good. And then you saw guys like just sticking their stick in the ice and it was just like slush. Like, yeah, that's not supposed to look like that. So clearly the sun was just too bright. So they delayed the game for hours, and then they ended up just. It was on NBC. Then they just delayed it straight. They're like, okay, 10 p.m. No, 9 p.m. local time, California time, and so super late for anybody on the East Coast that wanted to watch. And then they had to put it on NBC Sports Network. So, but it was so really cool. Obviously, then you couldn't see the mountains and stuff anymore. But they finished the game, and then they had a few more over the weekend. So, very cool. The first one was Avs Knights, and that's the one I watched, obviously, because I did highlights for it for the Avs. But all right, let's do some. What do we got? We got 15 minutes to do college basketball. Let's see how that goes. First thing, like I led with the NFL because that's what drives ratings. Let's lead with the top 5 matchup because that's what drives ratings. I'm not even drinking today. This is just coffee, and I'm slurring more than times that I've had a few beverages. A little, when I call it Tud Tight, that was so stupid. Okay. So on Sunday, and then we'll backtrack. On Sunday, we had Michigan, Ohio State. I'm just checking the live stream here. Make sure we are still recording. I like to do that every once in a while, Better than having to redo the whole thing. So we had Michigan, Ohio State. Michigan was ranked number 3 in the AP poll. Ohio State was ranked number 4. gonna say what I had them ranked. I don't remember. I don't think they moved. I think I had it 3 and 6, and I still do. So 3 and 6. Don't quote me on that. That's what I have them at now. I don't think I punished Ohio State for losing that game, because right behind them are just more 5-loss teams, and in front of them is a 3-loss Villanova team. So pretty sure Ohio State, they would have moved up if they won, and they just stayed where they were if they lost, because it's 3 versus 4, 3 versus 6. Two of the best teams in the country. That's like where people get so bent out of these rankings, bent out of shape. It's like, it's just a parameter. It's like, hey, you're a top team. Hey, you're not in the first 4 seeds. Hey, you're not in the field. Like, you're on the bubble. That's what it's for. It's not for 31, not 32. Shut up. Okay, so Michigan, Ohio State, it was a great game. Honestly, it felt like an NBA game more than it did a college game, just because the offenses were just so on fire. I mean, it literally felt like you were watching a 3-point contest for the first half. I think they were in the 50s in the first half. It was really, it was a great game. I don't have it pulled up. Sunday. 45-43 at halftime. Ended up being 92-87. So a high-scoring college game. Ohio State in the rankings, KenPom doesn't have the best defense, but Michigan pretty good. I think they were 7 offense, 7 defense in efficiencies a couple days ago at least. I'm not going to check it right now. It's not that important. But yeah, going in, I mean, Michigan, actually the night before the game, they were 1-point underdogs. And then when I woke up in the morning, they were 1-point favorites. So that tells you how much of a coin flip of the game it was, because it was at Ohio State. So that I threw $5 on them when they were underdogs. I was like, okay, like number 3 team in the country, underdogs, like sure, I'll take it. And I just thought they were the better team. I mean, overall, they've been playing like it all year. Could they lose? Yes, clearly. I mean, it was a very close game, but when you're playing that, it's like almost worth it. It's like, I'm gonna bet on you until you start showing us that you're not one of the top 3 teams in the country. Can they get caught? Yeah, anybody can. But, you know, what I'm saying, it's, from a betting perspective, I thought it was smart, and I won, so here we go. Michigan just, I mean, clearly, I think I even said this a week ago, or 2 weeks ago. They're clearly the number 3 team in the country. I don't think they're on the level with Baylor and Gonzaga yet. Obviously, they haven't played them either. It's tough to say what would happen on a court. I mean, that's why we play the games, and that's why we have March Madness. I do think they're like just a tier behind, but I do think they're a tier above everybody else. I mean, the next best is Villanova, who was the number 3 for most of the year, but they just haven't played anybody yet. So I want to see who they play coming down the stretch. Maybe they will be. But yeah, and then you just have a bunch of just, and then Florida State are my darlings, my babies. You know how I feel about them. Hashtag new blood. I like that a lot, actually. Instead of blue blood, new blood. Leonard Hamilton, Fountain Youth. Shout out. Yeah, and then it's just like a bunch of 5, 6, 7, 8 lost teams for the rest of the top 40. It's crazy. Then you throw in your occasional 22-2 Drake, and that's our top 40. It's like really just a mumbled mess after the top 5. That's really, I mean, really at this point in the year, it usually kind of is always that way. There's a break off at some point at like 4 or 8, or people start to pull away from the pack, and they clearly, Baylor and Gonzaga have weeks and weeks ago. Duke and Virginia played on, what's that, Saturday? And don't look now, but Duke's starting to play good basketball, I guess, if that's how you want to word it. They're playing better. I mean, the conversation was Duke's not even going to make the March Madness tournament, and now they're like beating quality teams. So people racking up to the Jalen Johnson news, him quote unquote opting out of the season. People are afraid to say that he quit. He technically quit. People are just afraid to word it like that, I guess. But, you know, I don't know if it's because he quit, but you're seeing the stats all the time. They're pulling up the records. They're 5-0 when he's not on the court. Two of the times he was injured, so they're 3-0 since he left the team. Coincidence? I don't know. Was he bad locker room? We don't know. We'll just chalk it up to that. They're playing better right now. I guess that's all that matters. And honestly, don't like I said, I kind of was don't look now, but Duke, North Carolina, even Kentucky, even though I don't think Kentucky's gonna make it unless they win their conference tournament. Michigan State is not playing better, really. I don't think. But those were the Blue Bloods we've all been saying are not going to be in the tournament this year. They've been playing, quite honestly, terribly. Not terribly, but way below what they usually are every year. And now look, we're 3 weeks away from Selection Sunday, and Hall of Fame coaches got their teams playing at least a little better coming down the stretch here. So we'll see if they can keep winning because they need to. But if they do, we might we might have the big names, and they're going to be playing underdog roles. I mean, even Kansas is still ranked in the top 25, but Kansas kind of has like this underdog vibe to them that scares me. I don't want why I don't want Kansas with a chip on their shoulder. Kansas is already Kansas. They don't need to have extra motivation to be good. They're already fantastic. Like what now because they've lost 7 games? Like now, oh boy. So watch out for the Blue Bloods. I think the script is changing. I think everybody's a little afraid to say it, but I think we're at that point where they're coming down. They're playing their best basketball coming down the stretch, which just shouldn't surprise anybody. Honestly, I don't know why we all were so quick to write them off, which we weren't. It was always hey, just the Blue Bloods are underperforming. That really should have been the news. But hey, guess what? They'll probably be great come March, and that's what's happening. So. There's that. Oh boy, 5 minutes. I'm halfway through my college basketball topics. West Virginia and Texas played on Saturday. Texas obviously they could barely practice because the whole state was frozen. So just a crazy story there. They actually ended up playing well. Then 2 players got in a fight mid-game, and that was kind of the turning point in the game. West Virginia saw that and put their foot on their throats, and West Virginia came back. What were they, down 19, I think, or something crazy? I feel bad. Kyle Smith, shout out. He's been on the podcast before. He was like, what are your picks for the day? I'm like, I like West Virginia getting points. And then they were down 19 at halftime or whatever it was, and he's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I bet on this. And then they just came roaring back, and he said he was with a couple buddies with Kevin and Dylan. I saw you were actually watching the live stream here for a bit. They said they were just at the bar going nuts, and some guy came up to him and was like how much money do you have on this game? So West Virginia pulled it out, and I'm glad I could help you guys win some money. That's good to see. So absolute roller coaster of a game. All Big 12 games are. Another one was Texas Tech, Oklahoma State. This was just last night. Fantastic overtime game. Both times they've played have gone into overtime. If there's a spread in the Big 12 that doesn't involve Iowa State, Kansas State, or TCU, and it's +6 or more, take it. These games are always so close. And this was another one. Oklahoma State getting points. Take it. There's a shot they're going to win, and they won in overtime. So, great game. Oklahoma State, that's to pat myself on the back here. I actually tweeted this. Didn't get a single like, but that's okay. Because it just does sound a little stupid. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm the only person I know of that I can find that had Oklahoma State ranked in the preseason poll. I purposefully put them at 25, the last spot. That was even in my submission for busting brackets. We did preseason polls. I put Oklahoma State 25. Did I think they were the 25th best team at the time? Probably not. But for this reason, I wanted it on record that I had Oklahoma State ranked in the preseason. And here they are, beating Texas Tech, who many people had in the top 10 preseason all year. I've had them inside the top 14 forever. Now, finally, they have to drop out. Now they have, 7, 8, 9 losses? They're just all to good teams, but they're just, you got to start, at some point, you got to start beating decent teams. Wisconsin, Purdue are in similar. People have tweeted at me, why don't you have them in your top 40? Because they have 7, 8, 9 losses, and at some point you just have to start beating these quality teams. I get they're quality teams, but I'd rather have a 5-loss, decent team. I don't know. It's one of those that's why I do my spreadsheets too, because all the different rankings, you take different things into account. I mean, some of the computers are still really high on Wisconsin. They have like 15, and then some things have them outside the top 40. So it's just, like I said, it's just a jumbled mess, honestly, after like 18. I think there's kind of like a little drop off. So yeah, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, great. Great game there. Next thing, Baylor coming back tonight, finally. 6 p.m. Mountain Time, so 8 p.m. For your East Coast listeners, watchers, viewers, listeners. Baylor coming back off a 3-week pause. 21 days they have not played a basketball game. That is crazy. We've seen teams come back and be bad off these pauses. We've seen teams come back. Was it Michigan who came back? They were losing at halftime and then came back and ended up playing well. Baylor actually already had, a week or two pause earlier this season and came back and looked fine. They're actually getting lucky that they're playing Iowa State to come back. I don't think Iowa State's won a game yet in the Big 12, so to come back and play the team in last place in the Big 12 is kind of you got lucky. You got lucky you're not coming back and playing West Virginia right away. So at least they can, but that's the thing. You don't want to sleep on a team, but you don't want to call it a warm up. But you get what I'm saying. It's so we'll see if they can come back and if they look sharp. Last time they came back off a pause, they looked great. It wasn't this long. 3 weeks is a really long time, and I think they just got to do a real practice Sunday. I think I saw, or Saturday. It was this weekend, so they haven't even been having team practices. They just having workouts. I think it's COVID protocols. They just are probably in pods or groups or solo workouts. It's because you don't want to get the whole team. Whatever. I don't know. So there's that. And then those are the game updates I wanted to get you. I mean, those are just ranked versus ranked matches that were interesting over the weekend and over the week. One thing I want to say with my spreadsheets, my top 40, I do this at the end of the year every year. All year, it's just too much work to do all of the rankings and metrics that I do. So I just do mine and the top 26 and the AP poll, coaches poll, and Ken Palm, just to kind of get a feel. Now I have 21 different rankings and metrics in my spreadsheet. So, and then I have the average rank obviously at the end, so you can see where it's a composite score. Honestly, I would assume the best ranking heading into March. I mean, how else does it get better than ranking all the rankings? It's I don't know how no one's ever thought of that. I'm the only one that I can see. So I'm trying to get a following on that on Twitter at least. March Madness, the NCAA announcing that they're going to do 25% fans for March Madness. If you haven't heard, it's all in Indianapolis, Indiana. Kind of like a bubble. Multiple different arenas, but all in same kind of area at least. So, yep. Coaches of the Year were announced, finalists, the top 15. No surprise by the list, really. My picks, this isn't really a surprise either, but I would say it's either Mark Few, Scott Drew, or Juwan Howard, which just happen to be the coaches of the top 3 teams. I would also throw in Leonard Hamilton, Nate Oates, and Andy Enfield. I think you kind of have to... You either have to do what Scott Drew and Mark Few are doing, which is what you were expected. And they were the number 1 and 2 teams in the preseason, and they're the number 1 and 2 teams undefeated right now, national title contenders. That's what was expected of them heading into the season. That's what they're doing. Coach of the Year award. The other option is, are you far exceeding the expectations, which is what Juwan Howard's doing with Michigan. They were either unranked or outside the top 20. They were not highly ranked, and now they're the number 3, only 1-loss team in the country. So he might honestly win it if they keep this up. And then Leonard Hamilton, very similar thing. Florida State, I was high on them all year. I've had them in the top 14, but they've been outside the top 25. They're a 3-loss team, best team in the ACC as of right now. So I think you should have to win your conference or beat expectations. Nate Oates, Andy Enfield's doing similar things. So I think those would be my votes. Probably in that order. That's really just like the order of their teams' rankings. So don't take too much into that. But I would Sumu, gotta give him a shout out. 2 triple doubles. I mean, you don't hear that very often in college. I know that kind of gets diluted because it happens so frequently in the NBA. But to do that in a college game in only 40 minutes is very impressive. He's done it twice, I think, in the last 4 games, either 3 or 4 or 5 games. 2 triple doubles. So he's putting himself in definitely Big Ten Player of the Year category, which then I guess would put you in the category with Luka Garza. Jared Butler, I think, should still be a close third. He hasn't been because he hasn't played in 3 weeks. So we'll see tonight if he has a great game again. And we won't even go over my top 40. That's posted online. I got to get out of here. But yeah, I mean, here we'll do a quick a few changes. I mean, Baylor 1, Gonzaga 2, Michigan 3. Where I differ from everybody, I have Florida State 4, which is way higher than anybody. Villanova 5, because those are our 2 3-loss teams left. Then you get to the Ohio State, who most people have up at 4. Oklahoma is just, I mean, they just went on that crazy stretch. Illinois, I have a little lower than people would think, but 8. I mean, you're a top 10 team in the country. Chill. West Virginia, I think, is great. Alabama, Virginia. Iowa's creeped back in the top 14. Many could argue why I had them out in the first place, but I digress. Creighton, I'm still a little high on. I have them at 13. Texas is falling. Could probably fall more. They're at 14. Tennessee, similar situation. Texas Tech now fell to 25. Actually, I haven't even changed the order here. But they after their loss. Louisville falling to 20. Houston, 16. Arkansas, baby. Must bus. Get on it, 17. Oklahoma State. Like I said, I've had them top 25, higher than everybody all year. UCLA. Don't sleep on Kansas, sitting there at 22. And then, it kind of turns into a jumbled mess of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lost teams. So, that was an episode. Kind of nice keeping it to a half hour for once, instead of rambling for like an hour and 15 minutes. All right, 41 years to yesterday was the Miracle on Ice. Can't believe 41 years. Wow. That was an episode. That was cool. Carson Wentz got traded. What were the highlights? Roy and Kitty, Keith Gill, Michael Jordan, the GOAT. Happy belated birthday. Aodosumu. Baylor's back, baby. I think it was a 23-point spread last time I looked. That's a lot. Woo! Might take it, though. Let's go Bears. Sick 'em. All right. Like, subscribe, share it with your friends. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. That will do it for us. And episode 98. Episode 99 is next. So, wow. Thanks, and see you next time. Bye.